Hi everyone, welcome to Games of the Week for the 15th of March. At least that's what it is today. So, this was a thing I used to do where every week I'd talk about, the new videos on the channel, the new games that I'd found out about, and, just anything that was news. But after Essen and the huge glut of games I was trying to get through and, cutting down on desperately trying to do 2 or more games a week, this kind of fell off and I didn't really do it again. The top 10s maybe count, the wrap up at the end of the year, but I haven't really done it since October. So there's a couple of reasons for doing it again. There's a lot of games that I've not mentioned that are coming out that I'm really excited about. The last thumbnail of me doing this is the one where it's just after Essen. I was really ill, and I think that thumbnail looks awful, and I want to wipe it off the recent things on that playlist. And someone, I think, someone said that they really liked this and that it was their favourite thing that I used to do. And why did I stop doing it? Well, it was time, really. And so here it is again. So there isn't really much to talk about in new games on the channel. There was, Midnight Legion review I did last week. That it's like a choose your own adventure, but there's more going on than you might expect from just a choose your own adventure. Don't know why I touched the microphone there. That's going to make a noise. And what else was new this week? We can scroll back and have a look. Well, we had the Gloomhaven review. That's what it was. Last week we had Gloomhaven playthrough and review, and I'll just leave it to you to watch that video where you can just see me, obsessively talking about how much I love Gloomhaven. I think I might play it a little bit more before I do another one, but I'll definitely do if not a full review, but definitely a second impressions, a revisit of it, because there's definitely been a couple of things where a couple of minor negative points that, and I don't think I mentioned anything really negative. I mentioned things that I've seen people complain about, like shuffling and things that weren't much of a problem for us, but there's a couple of things that have happened that have mainly balanced with 2 players. But they're very minor issues, but maybe I'll go back and talk about them. Oh, and Noch that came out the other day, didn't it? It's a lovely little dice game with colours. The UK Games Expo is coming up. That's going to be on the 2nd to the 4th of June 2017. Really excited about that. It will be my 3rd time going. And, I'm not sure if things are going to be released there this year. I know that last year, Project Elite its new version was there for the first time, and the Networks was available there for the first time. I'm not sure if there's nothing has come on my radar that's getting released there yet. Hopefully, is there a geek list or something? Let me know if there's some way of knowing the list of games. I know you can get the list of people that are going to be there, but I'm not sure of the actual games that are going to be available there. It's at the NEC. If you've never been, it's at the NEC in Birmingham. And it's this huge event. It was at a hotel the first year that we went, and then it expanded to the NEC last year, and I assume it's going to be expanding even more. I remember the numbers, shot up last year, and there were definitely huge crowds when we were there just for the one day. Not quite sure yet the days that I'll be there, but I'll definitely be there at some point, so hopefully see some of you there, and hopefully we'll be trying out and grabbing some fantastic games as we have in the previous years. So, yeah, 2nd to the 4th of June, so that's coming up very soon. Anticipated games. So I did my top 11 anticipated games of 2017, nearly said 16, and I haven't really gone into it since then. If you don't know, I've got a list of all the games that I've seen that I'm interested in on Boardgame Geek, and I'll put a link to that now. I'm pointing on the screen, assuming I can put it on the screen. If I can't, it'll be in the description. But yeah, there's a geek list for that. There are also geek lists for the videos that I have done, all the playthroughs that I've done. There's a big list there that you can see them all. And there is a list for requests. If you have a game you'd like me to play through, then you can just request it. It doesn't necessarily have to be one I have, because the information on games that I have isn't that complete. But if there's a game coming out that you'd like me to cover, then just mention it on there as well and, bring my attention to it. So first is not one of the ones I found out about most recently. It's The City of Kings, which I found out about a few months ago. And I've got this down as a cooperative fantasy exploration resource management game with a huge amount of variability and deterministic combat. It looks really, really interesting. And the creator, Frank West, just did a video the other day about the variability in the game not just the huge amount of stuff that's in the game, and then you'll be playing in different scenarios or on different stories, all of these different things. I definitely encourage you to watch it if you're all at all interested in the sound of the game, but also in his motivations behind wanting the experience to not be a little different every time, but to be very, very different every time. It sounds really, really interesting. It's going to be on Kickstarter this month, I think, but yeah, really, really excited about that. Hopefully it'll be at the UK Games Expo, since it's from a UK designer. I know that a lot went on at Aircon, but I wasn't able to get there, but definitely looking forward to finding out more about the City of Kinks. Next up is Seventh Cross. This is from Level 99 Games, who make, among other things, Millennium Blades, which was one of my favourite games from last year. And they do the Pixel Tactics, BattleCon, all sorts of different games. But this is apparently a cross between Tales of the Arabian Nights and Castlevania. So it sounds very, very interesting. And there was something I saw from the designer in the forums where he said, the exploration segments are conducted narratively, not on a board. Exploration is not about going left or right or jumping over pits of spikes, but who to trust and how to proceed on an investigation. And then the battles are specifically against boss scale monsters. There are no mobs or multi-room stages to clear on your way to the real fight. When you get into battle, it's a raised size boss ready to wipe out your entire party. That sounds really, really cool. And, I was interested in the beginning just because of that storybook element, the story exploration element. I enjoyed Tales of the Arabian Nights when it was the first game of that type that I've played, but when we played Agents of Smersh and it got cooperative, then, never really played Tales of the Arabian Nights again. There was always a player in Tales of the Arabian Nights that just got completely messed up from the start, usually, of the game and never had any fun. And, playing it cooperatively, that's never happened. It's always just been a really fun time. So that is Seventh Cross, really interested in that. Next is The Palace of Mad King Ludwig. Now, Castles of Mad King Ludwig is just behind me there with the other Bezier games. Really, really, really like that. And, its predecessor Suburbia, big fan of that as well. The expansion was really good for Castles as they just make very, very good games. Then, on top of all that, there is this new game where it's a small square tile laying game where we are all builders, but we're contributing to build the same palace. And the person who contributed the most and scores the most points will win the game. But really, really interested in that. It's going to be coming out at Essen this year. There's a pre-order up for it where you can see the pictures of the box, but definitely, it's surely going to be an insta-buy when that comes out. Next up is Card City XL, and it's still showing up as Card City 2 if you want to search for it on Boardgame Geek. Now, Card City was one of the very first games I remember buying on the Geek Market on Boardgame Geek. Well, trying to buy, it was very unsuccessful. Didn't really get a response from the person and kind of learnt about how the market system worked at that point, but I did get it, and it's a game where if you've never seen any of Alban's games, Alban City games, we have cards that represent, the residential, commercial, industrial, and we are placing them in a grid to form our city. But when certain conditions are met, like if a single commercial card is next to two different residential zones, it will expand by itself and become a bigger zone. And just the concept of the city evolving by itself as you are trying to help it along, it is also going to do these things by itself if you satisfy those conditions. That was a huge thing for us at the time. We then eventually got Town City when the 4th edition came out, and that takes it to the next level. That takes that concept of these different zones affecting the others and evolving on their own, and that shifts it from cards to cubes, and you are now building in 3D. So there's a whole new, literally a whole new dimension to be thinking about in there. So that evolution made us, we love Town Centre so much, we never really went back to Card City very much. But now it's coming back, and it has got so many new things in it. It's got 3 different levels of complexity, where the first level is Card City 1. So there's going to be there's going to be 2 more complex games involved in there. There are going to be new card types, multicolored cards that do things. There are going to be different winning conditions. There are going to be variants included in the rulebook. And then there's all the different player counts. I think I was emailing Alban about it, and he said that if you combine all of those things, the variants, the player counts, the winning conditions, the levels of complexity, if you combine all of these different things in all of the various permutations, there's 240 different ways of playing. So we're only going to be playing 2 players, and I'll be playing solo, I'm sure. So that cuts out some of those, but still a huge amount of variability in that. That is going to be coming, there's going to be more information on that on the way soon, but Card City XL. Next up is Flip Ships, and I don't even know very much about this. I know, some basic facts. It's from Kane Klenko, designer of, among other things, Fuse, one of my favourite games in recent years. And he's also designed, Pressure Cooker, Mad City, Covert was a recent one. He's doing Flatline that will be coming out this year, which is an evolution of Fuse. And, it's from Kane Klenko. It's a cooperative dexterity game. Definitely interested in that. It's from Renegade Games, who seem to have been on a huge roll of making these fantastic games recently. And, it's got a cool logo that looks the same upside down as it does the other way up. The art is from, forgive my pronunciation, Kwanchai Muria. So, it's got a ton of really, really nice things going for it. And that's all I know at the moment. So, just excited based off of those things. That is enough. Basically, I don't need to know any more. Next is Custom Heroes. If you saw my Mystic Vale video, or you're aware of Mystic Vale, you're aware of the concept of card crafting. That's where you will start off with a hand of cards, and then in Mystic Vale anyway, you get these advancements, which are clear cards with certain things printed on them, so they will overlap your original cards and add new abilities to them. This takes that card crafting idea, and it's now a trick-taking game, where we have these heroes and we'll be trying to boost their various stats. I don't know very much about it. It's interested based on how much I like the card crafting in Mystic Vale. Not sure how well it will work with 2. A lot of trick-taking games don't work very well with 2. But I am more interested in I wish I could remember the game of it, the game that's teased in the Mystic Vale rulebook. I want to know more about that. Next, Pandemic Legacy Season 2. This is so far down the list because there wasn't an entry for it when I made the original list and when I made the top 10 video and all those things. But Pandemic Legacy, the original, was one of the best experiences, the best roller coaster rides we'd ever had, since we got into board gaming. And until very recently, was the best thing. I'll give you 3 guesses to which thing replaced that. I know absolutely nothing about Season 2 other than the front of the boxes, which is on the page when you add it to the list. But, it's just going to be an insta-buy, and very much looking forward to what they are going to be doing differently than what was in the original Pandemic Legacy. And finally, this got announced yesterday, I think. It's Detective, a modern crime board game from Portal Games. And this is a cooperative deduction game where we are investigators solving crimes. There's 5 different crimes in the box, and you can play them as one big overarching story as well. You will be using printed elements, from a Sherlock Holmes consulting detective kind of thing, where you will have things in the box that you will be reading and trying to figure out the mystery. We are also these investigators that have access to this online database where we can go to whatever website it is and be searching through to try and find evidence there as well. But also, I read the short description that's on Board Game Geek when that got added, but I caught Ignacy, who is the co-designer on this. I caught him on the Dice Towers live stream because they're at the Gamma Trade Show right now, and he was describing that not only are you using the online thing that they have set up for you to be searching through. That's from reading the description, that's just what I assumed. But actually, he is saying that you use the entire internet. You use everything to try and solve this mystery. He gave an example. I can't quite remember what the specific example was, but they had spoken to a witness, and he said it was on the day this event happened, which is a real life event. So then he went on Wikipedia and found the date of that event, then went to the online database, the fake online database for the game, searched that date and came up with a suspect and solved a part of the puzzle that way. And you know, even without that aspect, I'm definitely interested. Deduction games, especially just the genre of, you know, being detectives and murder mystery and thing, definitely interested in all of that stuff. But this this dimension, this claim that you'll be able to use, you know, the wealth of online knowledge to try and solve these mysteries, and he was saying that that makes it a completely unique experience. And definitely, if that works out, then surely that's going to be a unique, amazing experience, and I'm really looking forward to that. Unfortunately, that's a 2018 game, but it's going to be fantastic when it does come out. And so I think that's it for now. I'm not sure if there will be enough games announced and things, enough news to talk about to do one every week, but I do quite like the idea of having a series called Games of the Week that I don't do every week for some reason. So that's it from me, I think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next game. Bye, everyone.